Good evening. Welcome to the Carver Capital Outlay Committee. Tonight is October 8th at 7 p.m. Should we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank Area 58 for coming tonight and recording. So the first topic we have on our agenda tonight is Town Administrator and Finance Director update.
Thank you, through you, Ms. Chair. Tonight I have provided a capital project summary. It's on the legal side, and I also provided a summarized report just showing all of the open capital articles that the town has. Anything that's not on this sheet has already been expensed from previous years. So these are the only open capital projects that the town has. So I wanted to just go through a summary and then go through each of the projects if you want. All the projects are listed by department with the fiscal year that the money was originally appropriated, what we have for a balance, and I have that for IT, fire, police, EMS, public works, and school, and I'll go through all of those. On the Town of Carver capital project summary, this just has a list. It's just kind of like a summary of the appropriations that we currently have open and projects that have been approved for departments to spend with the status of where we are. And this is the status as of today in terms of what has been expensed, what has been committed through encumbrances, and the balances. So I'm going to start at a higher level. We have $5.4 million in open capital projects as of July 1st, 2025. As of today, $578,000 has been expensed. 463 are currently under contract and encumbered, and we have a balance of $4.4 million. The $4.4 million looks a little high. One is because these are projects that are approved. We have the ladder truck for $2.4 million that was appropriation, but that truck isn't expected, until 2028-29. So you're going to see that, and we also have the EMS ambulance that's been ordered. So that's where you see the higher amount in terms of the balances. If you look at the capital project summary, it says FY26. I'm going to go through the projects that we currently have that are open. We have the town-wide tech upgrades. And I had the original budget. There was one missing for town computers technology, but I can add that when I send these to you electronically. So in total for the IT department, balances of July 1st is $262,000. As of today, $112,000 has been spent, and there's $121 under contract and encumbered, and there's a balance of $28. A lot of these projects, a lot of the equipment for IT has been purchased, and John's in the process of putting them together in terms of the firewall and the IT equipment that he's been working on. The next department is the fire department. We had there's $2.4 million in capital projects that have been appropriated that have balances, the largest one being the ladder truck that was approved in FY25, and there was a small balance of $3,451 for the rehab water rescue. This project has been completed, and they're just waiting for the project to come for the last invoice to be paid. The select board approved the FY23 appropriation that was for capital. This was for the police and fire radio infrastructure, and that equipment has been ordered, and it will be closed shortly. For the police department has a balance of $284,717.56 remaining. Those are all projects that were in FY25 and 26. As you can see, most of the projects are, there's $61,000 that's been spent. It's a balance of $233. The cruisers are under contract that we recently signed for the cruisers, so that makes up the majority of the balance that he has left in his capital. And there are other projects at the end of the FY26 that will be closed out. So there's 1,276.36 that will go back to free cash and 10,558.87. So those will be spent during the FY26 budget. EMS, we have the replacement of the ambulance. It has been ordered, and its potentially delivery date is August of 2027. So we're happy that that was approved, so he can get that in the next couple of years. For Public Works, I have two sections for Public Works. One is...
Before we move on,
Yes.
can I just ask about the ambulance? Are they is this the same ambulance that they're paying the town back $100,000 a year for?
So this is coming out of their receipt money. So
Okay.
we have the ambulance receipts, so they have enough money within their available balance to cover the ambulance. So this does not affect anything that we're bonding or...
No, but they borrowed $100,000 from the town of Carver.
I think that was the previous.
That was the
one.
previous
Yeah.
one. Okay, so not this one.
Not this one. This, for
Okay.
this year, they're paying for that out
But
of their
that one
funds.
is
Everything
done,
else is
right?
complete, yes.
Okay.
For Public Works, I have it in two different sections. The first section is the work that was done at Town Hall. So we have the Town Hall and the library roof. This was the project that was bonded in the fall. So around $600,000 that was bonded. This project is just about complete. We have one more invoice that might be around for $50,000, $60,000. I mean, I just put an average at $50,000, $60,000. The architectural engineering is completed for this project, so there's $22,000 that we wouldn't be using, and then we have the town hall roof that's completed, so there's a balance there, and then we have the library roof, and they have about 50. For the library roof, they were working on the skylight, and today will be the day whether or not it worked and everything was updated
Was
and
dry.
completed properly, because I think we got enough rain to cover that. So we have one more invoice rating for $60,000, and that will close out the project. We are around this amount that was bonded, so we'll know when we close out the project, so I'll give you an update. The rest of the authorization was originally 1.6 that was authorized, and so, a portion more than $1 million of that had already been rescinded at the last authorization, and that was in the warrant for FY26, so you won't see that on the budget, on the report. The next set of projects are all managed through the Department of Public Works. There was one old project that was approved by the select board to continue. That was for the ceiling tiles in the amount of $22,000. The Public Works has around $547,000 worth of project. They've already spent $183,000. They have 14 encumbered in around 350,000 projects that we're going to be completing throughout the year. The feasibility study, they're waiting for the invoices to come in, so that will close out the $24,000. One area, we have the energy efficiency projects and lighting fixtures. The director of O&M is planning on spending $150,000. And if you look back in prior years, there was always $100,000 that wasn't spent. The reason for that is that the town received a Green Communities grant, and that Green Communities grant covers all of the energy efficiency expenses that the town has had to pay. And so I have a meeting with Thomas Bott tomorrow, who manages that grant. We're going to look at what the balances are in the grant and see where in the grant we can use money, and then we could possibly save $150,000 in the capital budget. Dave has plans to spend this. It's going to be for LED lighting at the middle high school, first and second floor, and the common areas. But we're going to look and see what other funds are available to pay for this.
I've
That'd
got
be great.
questions. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I guess
Go ahead.
through you, Mr. Chair. This is kind of a sore spot, because these things always get left hanging out there in the wind. I don't think we should be asking for any more energy efficiency studies or monies unless we have a concrete plan on what we're going to do with them. Now, generally, someone puts out a description as to what they are. These particular items have the same description. But it just seems odd that fiscal 2025 is a $100,000 project, and we ask for more in 2026 when we haven't spent 2025. That just doesn't seem right. And then when you look at fiscal '25, it gets kind of blurry with the calendar years, meaning in the fiscal '24 town meeting, this got approved. Now, this is for the school and it's for lighting. I would imagine the best time to do that would be in the summer when the kids aren't in school. So you'd easily say at the calendar '24 fiscal '25 town meeting, there's no way he'd get the money approved and get it done that summer. But a year later, he better get the money approved, and it better be done that summer, because that's a window of opportunity that I don't understand why we're missing. But then, now we're looking at '27, because I'm not sure if you can do these projects during the school year. Why would you want to do them during the school year? So this one always seems to be just sitting out there, I'll get to it when I get to it, or whenever I can, and whatnot. Now we've got a Green Community credit that we have to find out what's going on. But I just think these items need to be much more tighter and on a timetable. They don't sit out there forever.
I do think we might need to talk to Dave. I thought I asked him about that once, and he said, I do spend the money every year, but there's a grant that's coming in and it's offsetting it, so you can't tell him spending it. It's not coming out of the capital.
Through you, Ms. Chair, I can explain that. What's happened is that David oversees the different projects. The invoices are paid out of a different department that are approved and paid. So as the invoices are being paid, David isn't seeing the account that's being paid out of, because those invoices are not paid from his department. As I was looking at the invoices, and I realized that as I was trying to follow up with departments of where you are in spending, when I spoke to Dave, he said, I am spending the money. We've been having projects, we're spending the money, and then when I did more research, I realized that the invoices for the work that he had money appropriated for were being paid for through the grant. And so when I meet with Thomas Bott tomorrow, I'll look at, what has been spent for each fiscal year going the last few fiscal years from this grant funds, and that's why the money that was allocated to the capital under this energy efficiency has not been spent.
Can I just ask?
Can I just say something?
Yes.
So there's a break in communication then, right? Because they're using the grant instead of the capital. So whoever is deciding to use the grant needs to come to you or to Dave and say, we're using this, we need this communications. Like, there's a lot of that, and this is one example.
I agree with you 100%. We're doing a lot of housekeeping
Yep.
with things that just hadn't been really reviewed and looked at. We're trying to keep the communication, you're saying,
Yep.
open. So we'll all be at that meeting, and once I've been able to reconcile and figure out what's going on, then we'll be able to put together, a system. And like you were saying, John, this is not going to be a request in future fiscal years if we have different sources of funding that are funding the same projects that the departments are looking to do.
Well, can I just, and I might not have this clear, I thought what was happening is we were spending the expenses out of the operating budget. No.
Those are not coming out of the operating budget. They're being paid for strictly out of the grant. So the grant, we received hundreds of thousands of dollars for this Green Community Grant, and it funds all of the LED energy efficiency projects for Carver. I'll be working with, I can't speak that much on that right now. I'm in the process of reviewing the grant. As I mentioned, I'm going to be working with Thomas Bott, who oversees this grant, to see what the eligible expenses are, when we need to have things spent, what the project schedule is, but I don't have a lot of information to provide today on that.
Okay. I'm trying to think about, in my head for accounting. Even though he's spending it from the grant, isn't your grant sort of coming in as revenue and your expenses are coming in as expenses?
Yes.
Or are they in the same account?
So, yes. So for the Green Community Grant, some of the grant money is received up front,
Yeah.
and then you have eligible expenses that you can use that money for. And so as Dave is working on energy efficiency projects that are eligible for the grant, those invoices are being paid for out of a different department, which is, in planning, which
But is-
has the money. So,
Wouldn't
yes.
that department be like an expense department?
No, it's a grant. A grant is just set up as a grant. So it's a grant, when we have the budget codes, you'll have different departments, within the budget segment. But this is strictly a grant through the planning department.
So
So
it
yes.
sits in the financials in a group of grants but it's for the planning department versus the planning overhead expense is what you're
Exactly.
talking
Yeah.
about.
But I still think you need to put a budget of how much you're gonna spend, but you need to know, you also need to budget the revenue or the grant that's coming in, so it nets to zero.
Yeah, so I'm working with the department. When I have that information, I'd be happy to share that with the committee. And just an explanation, I just realized this because I was trying to figure out why every year we have $100,000 available at the end of balances in capital over the last few years, and I was wondering why, what projects are being done if we're asking for this money. And then I realized through research that there are projects that are being done, but they're being funded out of a different source. Sometimes you have departments that receive grants, and that grant would have eligible expenses that tie to projects in other departments. This is something, after I've had a chance to speak with Thomas, would be a revenue source. So if when we come to capital and the departments are filling out their capital request and they're showing in detail what they need for capital, our revenue source would then be the Green Community Grant. So then you'll see what the revenue source, and it would not be coming from free cash.
Okay. So I think, well, obviously, we did spend the money, it just didn't come out of the capital account, it came out of another line item.
And I'll have a list looking at the projects over the last, couple of years, so we can see exactly what was spent, what projects we worked on, and, if we're going to, I'm not sure when the grant terms are, so these are all things that I'll have a better understanding tomorrow.
So what we'll probably be looking for in this next year's capital requests is, how you do the form that says, this is what it's for, and we ask for a timetable when it will be spent, and there probably should be something on it that says part of a grant or not part of a
Yeah, is it
grant. So it's
eligible for a
all
grant?
disclosed to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes, so there's a section on the capital request forms for source of funding. And so I'll be meeting with all the departments, going through all the different available sources of funding with them. You'll then provide it with the source of funding. We're also looking, we have that 10-year capital plan. And so everyone has the plan that was reviewed last year. And so that's something, if you want to have another meeting where we can look at the 10-year plan, the departments are providing their request to me by October 28th. We're definitely looking at projects that are phased. Sometimes, one of the concerns that you mentioned before was, we have projects, and the best practice is to have them spent within the year. If there are any type of delays, 2 years. So we're definitely looking at projects that are phased. The school department has a lot of projects that they have in phases, and they'll ask for funds for this year, and they'll ask for funds, in out years, depending on the cash flow when they think they're going to spend it. So that's something that we're going to be doing on the town side. If we have a project and that project is $300,000, but we know it comes in phases where only 1/3 of that project can be completed within this fiscal year, then we're going to be looking at asking for the funds over a certain period of time, because that way you're not going to have articles open for 2 and 3 or 4 years, and if a phase doesn't happen, then we'll be spending what we're requesting each fiscal year. So there's a lot more that's going into the capital planning this year with the department, so hope to be able to share that with the committee when we have that information.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you guys have any other questions on that one?
Moving on. The next section is the school department, and the school department has I believe, one project from FY24 that's ongoing, and that was for the parking lot that's ongoing, and that should be completed by the end of the fiscal year. The other projects, so the school department had $685,000 worth of open projects. 146 has been spent. We've had 327 that's currently under contract and encumbered, and 211,000 that are currently is available. As if you go through, we have the concession stand. There's students that are working on this project, and this should be completed in the winter time. The parking lot repairs, there's projects that are, that project is still ongoing, and this is an FY25, and that should be finished by the end of the fiscal year. We have a couple, of FY26 capital requests that have already been completed, and, some are encumbered as you want to go through. It just explains when the bid was awarded, furniture is being delivered in the fall. Some of the projects for the library upgrades are ongoing. Most of the IT technical needs have been completed, and we'll have small balances that will close out at the end of FY26. And we have the artificial play surfaces that was partially funded in FY25, and then as you go on, they had the berm removal where their phases. The school department, Ron Griffin provides a really detailed presentation of his capital projects, and so we meet frequently just to go over the status of where we are. So you'll see all of the town's projects, and I'll be meeting with the departments quarterly to get updates and, running reports. If you'd like to have a quarterly report or a monthly report, I can make sure that those are sent to you. Looking at, trying to get the reports out to all of the committees the Friday after the close of the month to give myself time if there's any journal entries and to get the reports submitted.
How long has it taken to close down the month? Like, do you have the month closed by 5th business day, 7th business day?
No, I can run the report. I can usually run the report, the day, depending on when the end of the month is, it close on a Sunday or close on a Saturday, I usually try to get the report out that very next day for expenses. And it's going to be expenses that were expensed through the previous Thursday.
Yeah, I think what happens is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I brought this up before about a closing schedule, like, reconcile cash the 3rd business day, something, accruals in the 5th business day, and it really doesn't operate like that. And I think it's more based on warrant driven when the warrant gets processed. So think of it as cash basis. I don't think that, maybe at the end of the year you have to try to get cutoffs done, but it's not typically done like.
So you're not booking accruals or any
No, I won't do that until the end of the fiscal year. If anything, with the modified accrual, if we have cash for expenses that were paid for in July, there'll be accrual. So I will make sure that the expenses or revenue is recognized, but it's not going to hit the cash until the prior year. And then I'll just set it up as a liability, knowing that this revenue expense. So usually the accruals aren't done until the end of the fiscal year, but monthly reports, I can send it out. I'm trying to put together a schedule of when I'm sending the report. So every month, depending on when the month closes, I'll have a schedule showing when you can expect to receive the report. So I'll be sending that schedule out. If it closes on Friday or Saturday, then I'll run the report on Monday or Tuesday. But I want it to be consistent so that that the first Monday after the close of the month, you're going to get a report. If you want reports monthly or quarterly, but it's up to you. Whatever you want, I can provide.
Can I ask just one question? Is that, they were sending out monthly reports, but I wasn't getting them in my typical email. There's like a select board group email down at the bottom that now populated, but I was trying to get into that today and I couldn't get into that. It said, not available. It looks like there's a couple more groups down there that said not available when I was trying to get through emails. So I don't know was there a group email for the finance committee, or are they getting
No, I was sending them.
Financials?
If I sent anything to the capital committee, it was just sent, I'm just typing in each member's name. We had some technical issues when we were using the group name, and you'd have the group name. I'm not going to get into detail, but I'm sending it individually to everybody. So I'm just putting everyone's name in. I'm not putting a group in.
So with the operating expenses by month that you're sending out to the board, are you sending it out to the finance committee as well?
Yes, I send it. So I've been sending it to the chair, but moving forward, every member is going to receive the report.
We used to get them from Laura Patine.
Yes,
I believe also.
She's in my department.
Yeah, she would send it very frequently, like, monthly.
So you will be receiving that. So moving forward, it was brought to my attention that people weren't receiving those. So everyone on the finance committee will receive their packet, and that will be received monthly, and it'll be sent directly to the person. I don't want to have any technical issues sending it to a group. That way I know everyone received it.
Thank you. I received the last
You're
one.
welcome. So this is a summary of all the capital projects that we have. I wanted to go over, if you look, you have a sheet of paper, and it says FY25 completed capital project with balances. These were the capital projects between '24 and '25 that were completed this fiscal year, and the balance of the projects are then going to be closed, and they'll roll into free cash. As you can see, that a lot of the balance are just smaller balances, based off of the original appropriation. The largest one was the basketball courts. This was an older appropriation, and the money hadn't been spent, and so this is going to be closed, and Dave is going to come back to the capital committee when they want to move forward with this project.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Just looking at this list, almost all these read like capital. Once this is completed, you then take it and move it into the fixed asset system for
Yes,
depreciation purposes?
so at the end of the fiscal year, part of the closing of our books is looking at all of our capital projects, moving into the fixed asset account. It's a different account within our financial system.
So where does the elementary school curriculum update go in the fixed asset schedule?
I'd have to review that because it's
Okay.
pretty detailed.
But it's considered an asset?
I have to look through. I mean, some of the capital articles, you're looking at buildings, you're looking at capital assets that have a depreciation schedule.
Yeah, 'cause
so
we
I'll be
put a
going.
definition down, didn't we,
We
in
did.
our capital? And this wouldn't make it.
No,
No,
this is
so-
from before.
So there's a list that I go through before I do the fixed assets. If you like, when that's done, I can always at one of the capital committee go through our fixed assets, and you can see what's been reported over
Sure.
the years.
And did you say you only do that annually?
At the end of the year, yes, and we do that for our financial statements.
And then when you do it annually, does it go back and calculate from when the asset went live?
This is manual. There,
It's not
I'm
unusual to be-
assuming, I'm not going to assume, because my dad told me a few things years ago, not to assume, but I'll be looking to Vadar to see what they have in the system. We had a couple consultants in the past that have processed our fixed asset schedule, so that's something that I'll be doing and putting together. Do you have any questions?
No, I think this is, thank you very much
This
for
is
this
good.
update. Yep,
It's
this is
great.
good information.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so did anyone have anything else for Karen or Glenn tonight?
Maybe not.
No?
That's good, thank you.
All right, well, before you guys go, we were looking to plan our meetings, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have my calendar in front of me, but the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month during the height of the busy budget season. So we just wanted to make sure you guys knew that and see if that works for you guys. But that is kind of tentatively what we're hoping to do this year. And then if we don't need them, we'll cancel it.
You
Well,
say
we
second
like-
and fourth?
Yeah, we were looking to
Okay.
do the second and fourth Wednesdays, just to be prepared and have our schedule laid out ahead of time. What month do you think would be okay for us to start? We don't want to start and then have to start canceling meetings.
Can I look through,
Yeah.
our schedule in terms of closing everything out, moving forward? We have October 28th, I will receive all of the capital requests and the FY27 budget requests from all departments. The first week in November, be meeting with the town administrator to review all of those. And I know that we have a meeting that is already on the schedule of the capital committee to go through this. I would like to get you the information in advance, because one thing that you mentioned is you want to have time to review it before we have the conversation, so I can talk to you about days that, I can send you the information in advance to give you plenty of time. Not a day or the Friday before the meeting, but sometimes it takes, a week.
Yeah.
So I'll look at the schedule and I can send you an emails, and you can let me know what works best for you. But I'll be
That'd very
available.
helpful.
Actually, Beth, do you have
Yeah.
a copy of the schedule?
Like this one?
I do have that
I
one.
have even more detail than that.
I don't have it right here, but
is
I
it-
have that
looks-
one in my
It's
binder.
right there.
This one?
Yeah, it looks like it's right there. So that might give you a better indication, because at least when we'll tell you when we're going to turn over information to you.
Okay.
And
So
I-
we'll line up to that.
And I think what might make sense is, based on that schedule, who knows what your life's gonna be like with regards to priorities and
Yeah.
firefights and everything else you're doing, but I think what has to happen with the free cash being the trigger number as to what we can do with capital, that I think that when the schedule kicks in, you just need to give us a number, like call it $1 million, so that when we start talking to boards, we have some kind of
Yeah.
background for a number. Now, that might change, right? And based on when you finally get it, let's just say it's close to the town meeting, then, you know, it's up to the select board then to make the changes, you know, versus, you know, it's just this committee coming back and having to have multiple meetings to meet a deadline, I don't think is really fair if we're going through the whole process. So the main thing is, hopefully, Glenn, that calendar works perfectly and everybody hits on things, but then stuff happens.
Right,
And-
every year.
And every year, so then at
Every
some
year.
point, in order for us to go, just give us a number. And we're not gonna say, hey, why is it off $5 when the actual comes in? Just give us a number, let us run with it, and then if there's a material change in it, then, yeah, if we can come back and revote, we'll revote once, but if we're not, let the select board handle it.
So Beth, this has that large group meeting that we did last year on November 18th, a Tuesday night. And then on Monday, December 1st, we turn over the capital list to you. So if you want to, you know,
Okay.
start in December, I'd say.
Are we still doing that meeting on the 18th, even though it's
I
election?
know.
Yeah,
I
don't
picked
know.
the 18th first, just so you know.
Oh, I know.
I should talk to Mark Townsend about that though, because it is election, it is
It is the election night.
night. I know. Yeah, I'll have that
through-
conversation with him.
Through you, I think, you know, we're going to have a list of what the departments are requesting. But until we have free cash numbers, we're not going to be able to, you can go through the list and look at prioritizing what projects that you feel you'd want to approve, but we won't know how much we can spend until our free cash numbers come in.
So we used to get a file, and I can give it, I think I've given over a copy, I'll do it again if you want. It's that old 10-year forecast, that, it was great.
Yes,
and
I have that.
It gave us like a good estimate.
Oh, I have
Even
that.
if we had that,
Yes.
okay,
And
that
as-
would be helpful.
Yep, you'll get that whole tenure, that's what we're working on. And I was just
Okay.
mentioning, through you, Ms. Chair, that one thing that I thought would be a good night to go over, maybe this is something that we can do at one of your meetings, is looking at debt service and looking at our capital needs and the debt and where it's going to drop off, when it's going to drop off, when we're going to be picking up, you know, additional debt, you know, with the ladder, and looking at some of these other, you know, capital expenses that may come up in, you know, in regards to the regional school. So I would love to be able to sit with a capital committee to kind of just have a working committee so you can review that and have like a larger picture of what our debt looks like moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, because we do have, you know, the potential of Old Colony. I do believe if it doesn't pass, they still will rebuild the school, right? Fix it
Well,
up.
let's think about how the process works. I'm trying to remember the numbers, I could be wrong, and that was, it was said, I think the school was 290 million, and then after MSBA, the net was like 160.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, and not to put you in the spot, Karen, did they give you an idea of what the debt payment, that night, did they give us a debt payment number or no?
They didn't give it just the debt payment. They kind of went over what our assessment was, and then,
Yeah.
you know, different members were thinking, oh, well, this is assessment, do we take money out of our, you know, local receipts? But I think that a good exercise would be looking at our different options through different debt models of financing.
Should be. Yeah, I would agree, but I think the argument was made is, in order to fix everything, it's $134 million.
That's true.
And then you're not getting anything new,
Yeah.
right? So, but the question is to go through that $134 million upgrade, I'm thinking, I don't know if they can do it at once. They would have to say, what's my biggest priority? And then they have to go to the 5 towns, right? Because you have to go to the 5 towns, get the approvals and everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna be $134 million in 1 year. It's gonna be some kind of protracted schedule.
Yeah.
And I know also with and I don't know if I'm wrong, and I could be,
Yeah.
but they're taking on more programs with the new school. And so, and then they're putting that on us, and it's gonna take away from we're gonna have an increase in kids to go over there. So I'm just like, well, why can't they just make a new school that's comparable to what they have now? It would be cheaper for everybody, but instead they're creating more
Well,
space.
So they're
for growth.
creating, it's growth,
Sorry,
but it's not
I guess
huge.
a point of order, can we talk about this if it's on the agenda?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry. We'll bring that up. We'll talk a little colony another night.
got sidetracked.
You can put that on the agenda
Yeah.
another night.
Yes.
We'll put that on the agenda. I'll make a note.
Any topics not reasonably anticipated.
You know, if you wanted to, Beth.
Could have.
Yeah, I guess you could use
I
that.
guess we could have.
The gentleman, Aaron Polinsky, he's more than willing to come to a meeting
He
and
is.
talk to you about it. So if you have questions.
I can
Yeah.
reach out to him, because I've been
Yeah.
going to
I
the
would
Old
like to
Colony
have more
meetings.
specifics on that, yes.
Do you want to have him come?
Especially if it's gonna be a part of our capital, it could be potentially.
The impact it has on your capital, everything, so.
He was there last night too, I'm not sure if you guys
I
I didn't
saw
see him. Yeah, I didn't
He was
see him.
right at the front door with the sign, handing everything out,
Yeah.
with the construction, the engineering company, I believe it was. All right. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you.
we- Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick around for the reorg.
Sure.
Come on.
All right, so next week, I only sent out one of the meeting minutes, that's all I had with me this morning, but I have more for us to approve. I printed them, I'm sorry if you couldn't open them.
Yeah, that was
My
weird, right?
firewall might
Yeah.
have blocked them.
It's easy, we just read them, so.
Yeah, I already read it.
So
All
I
right.
move to approve.
Do you want to make a motion to approve?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm making a motion to approve the June 4th minute capital outlay minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. 4-0. Thank you, guys. And I'll get those posted up. So we were just talking about the next meeting. I think maybe we'll hold off on booking a date until we hear back from Karen after she has her October 28th meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay with you guys?
Yep.
So I know that would be in November. We're kind of bumping up to Thanksgiving, but we can.
But
look at
we
the
are
calendar.
doing the November 18th meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's booked.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do know it is election day, so we might have to reconsider that.
All right, so let's.
When does it end? Usually they close at.
Noon to 8, closes at 8 o'clock,
Oh.
the polls.
Okay, so let's just plan right now on November 18th, unless
Mhm.
Karen's ready sooner. Okay. Oh, I skipped the reorg. I'm sorry, guys, we skipped the reorg. So I thought we should put that out there because we haven't reorganized our board this year with the new budget coming up. So I just wanted to put it out if anybody wanted to do a reorg. I'm open if somebody else wants.
Anybody else wants to be chairman or vice chairman, feel free.
Yeah, I'm the same way, so whatever
Okay.
you guys would like to do.
Oh, I will nominate Beth for chair.
Yes. I second Beth as chair.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I vote on that too?
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess so.
Okay, so Jen and then Jen.
Would anybody like to be vice chair?
I will take that on.
I would
Nice.
make a motion.
He's like,
Second.
please.
I can second that then.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I just wanted to make it official because we hadn't done that after town meeting.
Sure.
So I just wanted us to make sure we had that on there. Okay, any other topics we need to discuss? Anything we want us to bring up?
I don't have anything.
No?
Nope.
All right, well, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
But you have a committee member comments?
Oh. I thought we did that. Committee member comments, anything?
I have none.
I already made my comment.
I'm good.
All right,
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
okay.
I second.
All right, motion made in second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, have a great night.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.